Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So, last few meetings we had general talks on Islam and Christianity, basically. If you can recall, we talked about the basics of the faith, basics of the Christianity and Islam. I will not repeat these, I'll just go over. You can see the slides on the Tawheed, or uniqueness of God. There are some differences and similarities. On the day of resurrection, we share almost same belief. Scriptures, the Bible is not what we believe. The Bible is not the Torah, is not the Zabur, is not the Injil. So, and the day of judgment, heaven and hell, we all believe this. The divine leadership, Christians and Muslims both believe. With the important difference, the Christians believe church is the leader, divine leader. Shia Islam believes the imams are divine leaders. And also in Christianity, faith alone is enough for salvation. In Islam, it's not enough. You need to have good deeds. And the original sin in Christianity is very fundamental. In Islam, it's just opposite. The sin of Adam and Eve is forgiven, and we don't inherit sins from our parents. So mankind is born pure and sinless according to Islam. And Jesus came to die for human beings' sin according to Christianity, but in Islam, he came just to lead Israelite as other prophets also had the same mission. A general comparison of Bible and Quran. A lot of differences between Bible and there are lots of differences, but I'm just giving you a general image. The Bible, these are the points accepted by both scholars of Christianity and Islam. Majority of the scholars agree on these points. The Bible has more than 40 authors. More than 40 authors. And most of them are unknown. They don't know who wrote this, who wrote that, who wrote this book. So again, this is the Bible. And more than 40 people wrote it, at least 40 people, which most of them are unknown. So then how they know 40 people if they are unknown? From the content, from literature, from the history, and the style of writing, the style of conveying message, we know that more than 40 different people wrote it. But we don't know their names, we don't know who they were, nothing, almost nothing. Some of them we know, but most of them we don't. But the Quran, according to Islamic tradition, the author is God, but Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, received the Quran and recited it, and people wrote it down at his own lifetime. And another point, Bible is written hundreds of years after, let's say, Moses. At least 600-700 years after Moses. Someone came up and started writing Torah. Today's Torah, not the Torah we believe. We believe Torah revealed to Moses, and Moses wrote it down and gave it to his people. But this Torah, today's Torah, the first 5 books of the Bible, is written at least 600 years after Moses. That's a long gap, right? Long, really 600 years is enough to say everything is lost. But the Quran is written at the lifetime of the Prophet by supervising and control of Prophet directly. So Prophet himself controlled it and supervised it. And if we talk about the Gospels, the 4 Gospels in the New Testament, the oldest one is written 20 years after Jesus. 20 years after Jesus, the oldest Gospel is written. And the newest Gospel, which is the Gospel of John, written 80 years or 70 years, some people say, after Jesus. And we don't know even who they were. So who wrote Gospel of Mark, the oldest one, we don't know. Who wrote Gospel of John, we don't know, and so forth. So the language. So whoever can answer with this question, I'll give him a book. So what was the language of Bible? Aramaic. Aramaic is part of it. What is the Quran's language? Arabic. That's easy. So this book has a language too, or languages. From ladies, nobody.
Hebrew?
That's another language, yes. So far you said two of them. So if one more, if you say, you got the clue. Okay, from gentlemen, except you, because you're not in the book, I know. But no Googling, no chatting.
Greek.
What else? You go ahead.
Hebrew and is Aramaic, and I think I'm not sure.
Okay, nobody could win this. There are three languages, so-called original language, because I personally don't agree, but commonly, generally agreed by the biblical scholars, that this book originally written in three languages. Some parts in Hebrew, some parts in Aramaic, some parts in Greek. So you just missed the Greek. So if we want to be more accurate, more specific, I should say, the New Testament is written in Greek. The Old Testament is written mostly in Hebrew, but some part in Aramaic. So Hebrew and Aramaic are sister languages. They are very similar. And if you add Arabic to these two languages, Arabic, Hebrew, Aramaic, these are called Semitic languages. The oldest known Semitic language is Arabic. Then we have Aramaic and then Hebrew. So, the language of Bible is Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek. Moses' book, which is written in Hebrew, Torah written in Hebrew, but Moses never spoke Hebrew. Why? Why Moses never spoke Hebrew? Answer the question, get it. See, I'm trying to find the reason to give the book away.
Because he was raised in Egypt.
Little louder, speak a little louder.
Is that because he was raised by Egyptians?
Well, there were people living in different parts of the world, but they could speak different languages. That's not the reason. You are close to the answer, but that's not the reason. Yes, yes. Hebrew language is, you see, Moses is older than the Hebrew language's birth date. Moses was, before the Hebrew came to the literature of Israelites, Moses lived. Means, at the time of Moses, nobody spoke Hebrew, because there was no Hebrew around. When Moses lived, 1,400 years before Jesus, BCE, BCE before Common Era, right? Means 14 centuries before Jesus, Moses lived. The oldest document we have for Hebrew is approximately, some people say 700 BCE, some people say 800. Let's say 800 BCE. That is already 600 years after Moses. It means the Hebrew came to the world 600 years after Moses. Then how Moses could write Torah in Hebrew? It's impossible, right? So his book, which is Torah, was written in the language of Israelite at that time. What was the language of Israelites at that time? Ancient Egyptian language. Not Coptic, because Coptic came after. Ancient Egyptian language. So Moses never spoke Hebrew, but the oldest Torah we have is in Hebrew language. You translate Quran to Farsi, to English. Can anyone claim this is same? No. Two experts sit together whole night to find how to say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim in English. They couldn't. Because English doesn't convey the message. Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim has no equivalent in any language. In any language. Has no equivalent. So they have to just give some closest meaning, right? That's called interpretation or translation. The translating an ancient language to the modern language, it means you're going to lose lots of points in it. So how they translated Moses' book to Hebrew, no idea, because we don't have the original book even. So they rely on the oldest manuscripts we have, which is Greek and Hebrew. And Greek is even older than Hebrew. You get it? The Greek manuscripts of Torah we have today is older than even Hebrew. We don't have the original language of Torah and original teaching of Jesus. We don't have it at all. Because Jesus spoke Hebrew and Aramaic, but the Gospels are in Greek. Jesus did not speak, he did not teach Greek. Maybe he spoke some words in Greek, but when he was teaching Israelites and his disciples, he was teaching in Hebrew and some parts in Aramaic. However, Quran is in Prophet's own language. It's proven. We have the Birmingham Quran, goes back to Prophet's own time, and it's in Arabic. It's actually a very big difference. Very big, huge difference. So, the different languages of the Bible, different manuscript, you know manuscript, handwritten books, old books called manuscript. Different manuscripts of the Bible caused different interpretation of the Bible. Let's say you have Quran in several languages, you don't have the original Quran, but you have it in different languages. You have English, you have Persian, you have Turkish, you have German, French, and so forth. But you don't have, just imagine for a moment, you don't have the Quran in original language in Arabic. You will have different kind of interpretations. English will give you different message, Persian will give you different message, because they will get the message according to their own literature and own culture. Differences in language is not just the literal literature differences, it's also cultural differences. Yes, Greeks speak differently, Romans, Latin is different, English is different, Persian is different, yes. However, the people of these different languages think differently. Their culture is different. When you say, watch out, in Persian we don't say watch out. If someone doesn't know the culture of a people and tries to translate these words in Persian, as kids open the window and tries to see outside, you say watch out. And if he doesn't know the culture of English, he will actually pull out his head and see outside, because in Persian it means look out. Watch out in Persian means look out. So different versions of Bible we have because we have different languages of the Bible, different manuscripts of the Bible. One of the reasons. However, Quran, we have only one version, and that's Arabic. We don't have two versions. We have only one version of the Quran. Yes, we do have different interpretations of some parts, different readings, but one Quran, not two. Bible, we have hundreds of different versions of the Bible. Hundreds. I could say thousands, but I'm being a little bit cautious.